Hey everybody, welcome back to Everyman Prepping. And decided to do a video outside today in my little barn building that I have. I haven't done one in a while. It's usually too hot in the summer, but getting into fall and winter, I like coming out here. It's a little more peaceful. Talk directly with you guys. I can't put little articles up. I'll try to put some up here as I'm talking if I get to an editing. But I enjoy doing this out here. Hopefully you like it as well. But we need to talk about Israel going to war. I'm sure we've all heard about it. You've seen stories and everything. I'm going to go through what I have. I got my tablet out here with me to go through some of the stories as we walk through this. But, officially, just this morning for us here in the United States, Israel officially declared war against Hamas. Is that going to expand further into Hezbollah, Lebanon, Syria, Iran? Who knows? But they have officially declared war. They're stacking troops and armor, and they're bombing the heck out of Gaza right now, but they're putting all that on the border of Gaza, and they're probably going to go in. There's crazy calls out there right now. There's calls for Israel to glass Gaza, to make it into a parking lot, to level it. Some people say that's threats of nuclear bombs going off. All that stuff's going on right now, but we need to talk about this piece by piece a little bit, give you some of my opinions, and then I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. As you do that, drop a like, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, share this with others, all that great stuff. But in case you don't know, early yesterday, Hamas came across the Gaza border into southern Israel. They went through checkpoints. They brought by vehicle. They came in through the air and hang gliders, the ones that are propelled by big fans and stuff. They dropped in on a music festival, killed a lot of those people. They've taken tons of hostages. One of the tweets or X posts I have right here is that there's over 700 civilian deaths with over 2,000 injured. That's probably more by now. How many army people have been killed? And those that don't like X or Twitter, whether you like Elon, hate Elon, whatever, it's a great source for up-to-date information on something like this. You got to vet who you follow, where you're getting it from, but nothing beats, in my opinion, Twitter as to up-to-date information, and that's why I get a lot of this from. Like I said, I trust who I follow, the sources, who's saying it, I check. It's great for up-to-date information. But like I said, they're saying over 700 civilians killed. They don't know how many hostages. They're saying there's American hostages, European, Israeli, of course, women, children, kids, horrific things going on out there. And Israel's going to go, try to find them if they're even still alive right now, and who knows what else they're going to do. But I put a short out yesterday. Not too many people saw it. I think like 40 people looked at it. So check out my short yesterday. But it's about how does the most heavily guarded border, probably in the world, cameras, soldiers, barricade, how does the most heavily guarded, barrier between two countries get breached? Hundreds of militants, Palestinians, Hamas coming across, creating havoc, and the Israeli army authorities, they don't respond for 6 or 7 hours, we're hearing now. That's the rumors coming out. Some people that I follow from Israel, given what they're hearing, that there's no response for 6 or 7 hours. What is going on there? Like in my short, I said, this is kind of like a Pearl Harbor thing where, Israel, they had to know it was coming. In my opinion, they had to know it was coming. And why was the response so slow? Well, if your end game for Israel is to eliminate Hamas, glass, the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, get rid of them totally and start over, you need a reason. Well, if you know this attack's coming, you kind of let it happen, kind of let bad stuff happen, and then react to it, and then that gives you the right to go in there, gives you the ammunition to go there and do what you need to do. It's a possibility. A lot of people are thinking about that. It's just not my opinion, but there's no way I would say that the most heavily guarded, heavily watched area in Israel, probably that part of the country, gets, blasted open, driven across, and no reaction for hours. The civilians are on their own. Everybody's up to their own devices. And then finally they came. So very weird thing happening there. I'm sure there's going to be some fallout from that. But, now Israel has all they need to go in there and do what they need in Gaza. And I think that's going to spiral further. But let's read a few more things before we get into, what else I think is going to happen. So what else do we have on here besides that huge death toll? We have the U.S. is just going to send the aircraft carrier. I think it's the Gerald Ford, what I'm reading here. Let's see. United States military orders the movement of the USS Gerald Ford strike group to eastern Mediterranean. So the Gerald Ford is the biggest aircraft carrier in the world, the biggest warship ever built. They're steaming it in there because why not? We already have Ukraine going on, supporting them. Now, we're going to send a lot of stuff to the Middle East. That being said, what China's thinking? They're licking their chops. China's probably super excited with all this happening. We got the U.S. occupied with Ukraine. Going to have the U.S. occupied with, Israel and Hamas in the Middle East. Probably Iran maybe in a little bit. You're going to start a three-front war. China go after Taiwan. They're going to be able to do anything. China's loving this, right? Is that all a setup? Who knows? But not looking good in that aspect of things. So we got that aircraft carrier steaming in there. And I have a quote here from Hamas. Let's see. It says, a spokesman for Hamas said, the movement of the American aircraft carrier does not scare us, and the American administration must realize the consequences of this step. Now, are they just blustering? Probably. Do they have something they can do? Do they have sleeper cells within the U.S. to do something? I don't know. Could they? Maybe. Possibly. Could they be planning some kind of attack on the ships using Iranian-supplied missiles and stuff? Who knows? Probably. But something to watch out for. Something to, I wouldn't say it's not going to happen. Unlikely. I would say it's escalating the war. And then Hamas also said that, and Hezbollah, that if Israel goes into Gaza, which they will, they're stacking tanks, they're stacking men, artillery, all that. They're going in there. That Hezbollah in Lebanon is going to attack. They're going to, go to northern Israel and attack. So Israel's beefing that up. So if you have Hezbollah coming from the north, and maybe even from Jordan, and then you have Gaza in the south, and they're all supported by Iran, this thing could easily blow up into a gigantic Middle Eastern war. And like I always talked about, we're already in a world war with Ukraine. This will just expand it further. And then, ties us up with troops and armor. And there's also, Biden's also coming out. Let me see if I have it in here in my list of things I have of what Biden said, that they're looking at sending a huge package. It says here we go. I got it here for you. It's heading towards Israel along with a large military aid package, including weapons for the Iron Dome. There's 90 aircraft on there, including F-35Cs, and it's got missile cruisers with it, all kinds of stuff going along with it. It says, in addition to the 5 ships of the carrier group, it appears the USS Carney, the USS Roosevelt are both headed that way in the missile destroyer group. So they're sending more military there. And you have to excuse this fly killing us flying around here, so we'll just ignore that as just something to add to the video. But check this out. Israel, we already give them billions and billions of dollars of aid every year. Their entire focus all the time is to plan for war against Hamas, the Palestinians. That's all they do. They plan for it. They train for it. That's what they're focused on. Yet they need more military aid from the United States. They need more weapons for the Iron Dome. They need more supplies. If Israel isn't ready for something like this, and that's all they do is prepare for it, do you think the United States is ready to enter World War III? Are we ready to enter a war with Russia directly? China over in Taiwan? Now the Middle East? Do we have the supplies for that after we've given Ukraine? There's no way. We're hurting. The United States is hurting on this. Their actual engagement with the United States on any of these is going to deplete the supplies down to nothing, and we're going to be sitting ducks. It's going to be us up. It's going to be left to us over here on the homeland to take care of ourselves and hope boots on the ground never come here, because our military is going to be so depleted after this, after helping Israel, after helping Ukraine, Taiwan gets involved. There's going to be nothing left, and we don't have any military production. Our military industrial complex isn't built on a wartime effort. There's no wartime buildup for it. Russia's doing that. They have all their wartime industry going. China's doing it. North Korea's helping them. Iran, that's all they think about. Here in the United States, no. There's no wartime economy. There's no war footing. So I fear what could happen if this escalates into United States direct involvement in 3 places in the world. What's going to happen? Like I said, Israel, that's all they plan for. Yet they need help right now. Not looking good in that aspect. And one other thing that I want to talk about here is, this one here. The Biden, this is from RT. The Biden is going to probably request another $100 billion aid for Ukraine. That's from RT. Like I said, it's a Russian news outlet. Not sure if that's true or not. Not sure where he's going to get that money, being that, Congress didn't approve any money. The House didn't approve any money until, November 17th? Is that what they're going to say? We need $100 billion. But imagine sending $100 billion more there. How much do we have to send Israel now? It's out of control. I mean, it is seriously out of control. And then you got, let me show you a picture. See if I can put this picture up. This is in Kiev. You're in a war with Russia. Yet for some reason you have the ability to decorate your capital in Israeli colors and everything. Doesn't look like they're at war. That brings up another side note. I know I'm going off on tangents here, but we've all seen on Twitter news tons of footage of Israelis getting killed at bus stops and in their homes, and rockets fired from Hamas. Everybody's saying, why do we have so much footage of that for one day of events than we do of what's going on in Ukraine? Why is there no footage of being on the mainstream, on the legacy media, showing what's happening in Ukraine, the bombings, the fighting? Why is there nothing there? Well, they don't want to show it to you. You can find it. If you got Telegram or Reddit, you can find these videos, and it's pretty horrific stuff. But the media doesn't want to show that to you, of what's going on out there. They don't want to show the Ukrainians getting decimated and losing and all that. It doesn't fit that narrative. But the narrative of, terrorists and Hamas killing, Israelis, and the power that the Israelis have across the world with their influence, that feeds their narrative. There's also a lot of control by people, certain, let's just say there's a lot of control that would focus that media on what's going on in Israel to shape the narrative, to support, what Israel's doing and to give them support. So it's not that there is no fighting over there in Ukraine, that there isn't a lot of death and destruction. It's just that it doesn't fit the narrative. Ukraine has outlawed any video going out. They, there's punishment, jail time, all that if you, record it and send it out. That's from Zelensky and all that. That's why there are differences in there. I know some people in the conspiracy world thinking there's really no war over there in Ukraine. Nothing's happening. It's all just to launder money. And trust me, I'm sure there's plenty of money getting laundered over there, but there is a war. If you know how to look for it, you can find the videos. You can search for it. You'll see drones dropping grenades on tanks, people, artillery. It's all out there. The footage is out there. It's mostly in the countryside. It's not any city fighting, the big city. It's not like Tel Aviv getting rockets blasted into it and big, Israeli cities like that. So it doesn't show like that. So we're going to see a lot of footage. We're going to see a lot of footage of Gaza buildings getting destroyed. You can see it now. They're bombing the heck out of Gaza right now. And when the tanks roll in, you're going to see that. Another thing I want to talk, that leads me to something else, probably the last point I want to make is, how in Ukraine, they took the winter off, basically. And they were going to be building for this great counteroffensive. Ukraine is going to build this great counteroffensive after winter and take the land back. What'd that do? It gave Russia the time to dig in, put up defenses, harden themselves. Well, Hamas, they're not dumb over there. They knew after they did this invasion, took hostages, took prisoners, killed civilians, and then pulled back or got killed, went into Gaza, and they know Israel's coming. You don't think they've hardened? You don't think they've laid traps? You don't think they have something waiting for the Israelis coming in there? They just didn't do this on a whim and then going to be taken. No, I think they're very hardened up. They know artillery's coming. They know troops are coming. It's going to be a lot of casualties, probably a lot of losses. They don't have air support, so that's a benefit Israel has, but it's going to be bloody. And like I said, I think Hamas, they don't do this without knowing that Israel's coming in there for a big fight. Does Egypt get involved? Does Lebanon? Does Iran? Is there, if this gets past just Israel and Gaza, and maybe into Hezbollah a little bit, if it gets beyond that, look out, people. You need to get ready. You need to stay prepared. It's everything. Do everything you can do now to get what you can do. We always say that, and it sounds like we just beat a dead horse. We always say this. A lot of us on here on creators, but you got to take it to heart. When this is building, this is the biggest attack within Israel in 50 years. The last war we had like this in Europe was World War II, basically. So this is a lot of first time since a long time things happening, meaning, yes, you need to take it seriously. You're prepping your food, your water, your self-defense, all that stuff, your precious metals, your first aid, your training. More important than ever. Day by day, it's becoming more important than ever. So just keep going with doing what you're doing. Write comments below. If you need help, you have questions, send me an email. You can find it in the description below. I can point you in the right direction. Other people in the community will answer questions and comments, whatever you need. But just get ready, folks. It's, stay frosty. It's getting a little crazy out there day by day, worse by worse. We'll see how this hits oil prices. It's going to affect inflation. Anytime happens in the Middle East, oil prices skyrocket. So get ready for that. Until next time, keep your ear to the ground and head on a swivel.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.